Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern Ned Reynolds in the studio, halfway point of the week. It's been more than a year, I think, since this person has been rumored to be traded from the team, and the St. Louis Cardinals finally got it done.
They did, in a sense. This is Nolan Arenado we're talking about, and the Cardinals sent him to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So your first thought is, well, finally, the Cardinals, it's a salary dump. They want to get rid of all that. But no, it is not. This is bizarre. It is so obvious that both the Cardinals and Arenado wanted to part company. It's not a matter of disliking. They just didn't want him around because he's standing in the way of some of the younger talent. He also he's owed or was owed $42 million. Still is. That's what his contract calls for. So the Cardinals send him to Arizona for a minor league pitcher who I don't think's played any pro baseball yet, a guy named Jack Martinez. He's from Arizona State University. And Martinez is a good pitcher. He's a flamethrower, but he's a kid. He's just out of Arizona State, an 8th-round draft choice. But the Cardinals get rid of the salary, right? Wrong-o. The Cardinals are paying $31 million of that contract. So they're shy $11 million. That, in those terms, is not a real big deal. So the Cardinals are going to end up paying for him, paying most of his salary with the Diamondbacks. I think Arizona's going to pay something like $10 million or something like that. But the fact of the matter remains, Nolan Arenado will not be at third base for the Cardinals. Who will be there? Well, that's what they'll work on in spring training, I'm quite sure. But that deal is done, and there's no coming back now. It could be, Mike, that we see Jack Martinez here in Springfield. He's just a young kid and learning the ropes of pro baseball, so we'll find out. But this is almost a nothing deal other than the fact that a guy who's probably a future Hall of Famer is not going to be wearing the Cardinals uniform this year.
And it just blows my mind. 2 years left on that Rockies deal. It's crazy. And then he's still getting money from the Cardinals, and it was 11. They're covering... Arizona's covering 5 of that $27 million from Colorado, and then 6 of the $15 million we owe him.
I don't think this has ever happened before. What has happened before in terms of a player saying, hey, look, I'm not worth this money. I think I'll just give back. But that doesn't happen anymore because the Players Association says, no, don't do that. You're giving the other guys the idea. We can't negotiate if that's the case. So he's stuck with $42 million.
And therein lies I think that's a big problem in Major League Baseball, because you don't see guys like Patrick Mahomes, for example, willing to go back to the team to renegotiate long-term contracts to help with cap situation, because there is no cap. But do you think the Cardinals are going to do any more trades?
I think they will if the opportunity presents itself. There's Brendan Donovan, who is a very good player. I would hate to see that happen because he is a leader and a good hitter. But the Cardinals, Chaim Bloom, is opening up him for perhaps some circumstances. I think they'll jettison some others, maybe another outfielder along the line. But the Cardinals have to get something for those guys. And for Brendan Donovan, they'll get a load of good players. So we'll see what happens if, in fact, that does come to the fore. Cardinals are here in town on Friday, as everybody knows, and the meeting they have for the public is open to the public for free, and the doors open at noontime at the Bill Rowe Training Center at Hammons Field, and several of the Cardinals will be there, and it'll be an interesting conversation. And then those players are introduced at the Tournament of Champions. That's always a big deal as well.
And get out, get your red on, and go support the Cardinals. Now let's talk about some golf. When's the next tournament tee off?
It tees off tomorrow. It's the Sony Open at the Waialae Country Club in Honolulu. That's the setting. Now, normally, under normal circumstances, it's the second tournament because the PGA has 2 tournaments scheduled for Hawaii. The opener is the Tournament of Champions on Maui. But that tournament was canceled. Canceled because they're having a severe drought on Maui, and the fact that they had the tremendous fires on the island of Maui last year, that didn't help matters any. It did affect that course, so they can't keep it watered. They can't keep it open for PGA standards, so the tournament was canceled, probably just for this year. But the other one, the Sony Open, that starts tomorrow.
Yesterday was announced Mike Tomlin, after decades as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was going to walk away from the team. I was not expecting that on my bingo card. What about you, man?
I don't think anybody was. I am absolutely stunned that he pulled that move. Now, keep in mind, folks, he was not fired. He informed Mr. Rooney, who owns the Pittsburgh Steelers, on yesterday morning, and he said, I'm not going to come back. And Mr. Rooney, what? Wait a minute, what is all this? And he said, I'm just not coming back. So immediately, all the news rumors and all that sort of thing, and the wonderful, always accurate social media had a number of prospects for Mike Tomlin to follow as a coach. And yet, he said late last night he is not planning on coaching again this year. Now, he didn't rule out coaching again, but as far as this year's concerned, no. He obviously is very tired, and the Steelers just didn't perform to his level of play. Tomlin's a perfectionist and well-liked by everybody. He's a very popular guy. So after 19 years as the boss of the Steelers, Mike Tomlin is out. The search for a new coach. There are now only 9 searches going on, Mike. Come on. Are you ready to apply for one?
We'll see. Like I said yesterday, I don't know how much of a coach of man I can be. I might be like one of these offensive line guys, but last time I tried to play Madden, I didn't do too good, and some 9-year-old kid beat me, so I don't think I should be a coach.
But could you be an offensive coordinator?
I think if I was to be honest with myself, I'd be like that hype guy that stands next. Like you're always looking on the sideline. You see the coaches with the boards and their laminated sheets or whatever. And you always see these other guys that are just kind of standing there. They're assistants. I'd be that guy. That's who I'd be.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles reassigned as they should have, their offensive coordinator after 1 year. He needed to be out of there. I would be one of the guys who is sitting in the press box with a nice little bottle.
Yeah, with a hot toddy. Yeah, me and you both. I was going to ask you, did you see the video of that kid after they lost in the playoffs? There's probably, he couldn't have been more than 10 years old, 11 years old, Philly kid. And the reporter goes, so how are you feeling? He goes, I got these for my birthday. He was just Philadelphia through and through.
That's
and he's like, they need to get rid of KP. He's going to be flipping burgers at McDonald's, one side hot, the other side raw. Dude, I was like, this kid's 10 years old. Oh, my God. Anyway.
And I promise you he's from South Philly.
Oh, I guarantee you. And he's probably one of the ones throwing beer cans at the 49ers fans. Missouri State basketball Bears are back on the court. Win.
They are playing tonight. They play in Bowling Green, Kentucky tonight. This is a conference game against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. And the Hilltoppers, who do not have as good a conference record as the Bears. Western Kentucky's 3-2 and the Bears are 4-1, but they have similar overall records, 10 wins and 6 losses. Western's played some pretty tough teams. And the Hilltoppers are a 6.5-point favorite tonight. Don't sell the Bears short. Western Kentucky has probably looked at some of the tapes and so forth, and not probably, they certainly have, and seen the kind of pressure defense that Konzo brings with his team. They'll be ready for it. They're a good operation and a veteran one. So it'll be the Bears in Western Kentucky, and they play tonight at Bowling Green.
How about those Kansas Jayhawks getting the dub against Iowa State last night?
Now, am I shocked? No, not hardly. You go into the Fog, the Fog Allen Arena, and you're in for a tough time. Iowa State goes in there last night as the number 2 team in America and undefeated. Oh my, 84-63. Kansas blew them out, and at one time it was 44-18 in the first half. That's where the game was won in the first half. Iowa State actually played pretty well in the second half. They are a good team. They're not a fluke. But Kansas, hey, the Jayhawks were hitting everything in sight, and they have those. It's almost 16,000 is what they can jam into the Fog Allen Fieldhouse. And every one of them, they're up and stomping and carrying on and making all sorts of noise. Can't even hear the announcers. And that really had an effect on the Jayhawks, and they won and win it big, 84-63. Now, this is a team that's a real stunner in college basketball. Nebraska. Nebraska never really has been high stakes in basketball and all that sort of thing, but this year they are undefeated, and they are still undefeated in the Big Ten Conference. Not just in the Big Ten, they're undefeated overall. Nebraska defeated Oregon last night 90-55. Now, Oregon's no great shakes, but Nebraska is, and the Huskers are proving themselves to be the real deal. Connecticut, which is number 3, The Lady Huskies, Connecticut Lady Huskies, are number 1 in America. The men's team is number 3. Has it ever happened that both teams have won national championships in the same year? You bet it has, and Connecticut is one of the schools that's done that. But Connecticut's number 3. They played number 25 Seton Hall last night, and Connecticut won it, but just barely, 69-64. The team that is really opening up a lot of eyes is the 19th-ranked Florida Gators. Why are they opening up eyes? Because they lost quite a bit of talent from last year. They are the reigning national champions. But Florida went into Norman, Oklahoma last night and poured it on the Sooners. It was Florida 96, Oklahoma 79. Missouri has beaten that Florida team this year, beat them by 2 with a shot at the buzzer. And hockey last night, Blues win 3-0 over the Carolina Hurricane.
Go Blues. Go Ned. Have a great day, sir.